Today's story takes us deep inside Russia, a nation trembling beneath the weight of panic, silence, and fear. The cities are collapsing under their own pressure. The banks are facing unprecedented chaos. And in an extraordinary move, Vladimir Putin has begun shutting down internet access, even in the heart of St. Petersburg. This isn't just another moment of instability. This could be the sign of a nation on the brink. It all started quietly, as most collapses do. A few reports of people lining up outside banks, withdrawing cash, exchanging rubles for dollars. No one thought much of it at first. Russia's economy has been under strain for years. But what began as routine fear quickly became a tidal wave of panic. Within hours, bank lobbies were filled, ATMs were empty, and the smell of desperation filled the air. People were shouting, demanding their savings. Some were crying, others furious. In cities like Moscow, Kazan, and Novosibirsk, the lines stretched for blocks. Social media was flooded with videos of citizens desperately trying to transfer their money abroad. Until suddenly the screens went black. The internet began to fail, one city at a time. Then came the shocking announcement. Internet restrictions were being implemented for national security reasons. The Kremlin stated that it was a temporary measure to prevent the spread of false information. But everyone knew what that really meant: control. When panic spreads online, it spreads fast, and Putin's regime couldn't risk that. By the time St. Petersburg, Russia's cultural heart, went offline, the nation had entered full crisis mode. Businesses couldn't process payments. Online transactions froze. Banks shut down their apps, and people, already terrified, were now completely cut off. No access to their accounts, no news, no updates, just silence. Imagine the fear. You wake up to find your bank closed, your cards useless, and your phone barely working. You can't reach family in other cities. You can't check if your savings are safe. You can't even read the news because the internet is gone. That's the reality millions of Russians faced in those tense hours. The images coming out before the blackout were haunting. Long lines, shattered glass at ATMs, guards trying to control furious crowds, and people holding up empty bank cards begging for answers. The ruble was in free fall. Inflation, already rising, went wild. Within a day, the black market exchange rate exploded as people tried desperately to find US dollars or euros. Russia's financial system began to buckle under pressure. Economists had warned for months that the sanctions, the ongoing war expenses, and the growing isolation were unsustainable, but no one expected a complete meltdown this fast. The bank run, as it's being called, might go down as the worst financial crisis in modern Russian history. In the chaos, even government employees were seen waiting in line to withdraw cash. That image alone shattered the illusion of stability that Putin's administration tried so hard to maintain. When the people working for the system no longer trust it, you know something is deeply wrong. As the panic grew, rumors spread that major Russian banks were insolvent, that they no longer had enough reserves to handle the withdrawals. The central bank tried to calm the public with televised statements, saying that liquidity was stable and funds were guaranteed. But few believed them. Too many lies, too many empty promises. The streets of St. Petersburg, once vibrant and alive, turned eerily quiet. Stores closed early. Cash-only signs appeared everywhere. The few working ATMs were surrounded by desperate citizens, clutching their cards and praying that the machine still had money. In some areas, local police were deployed to guard banks from angry crowds. Then came the next blow. The blackout expanded. Access to messaging apps like Telegram, WhatsApp, and even VPN services was heavily restricted. The Kremlin didn't just want to stop panic, it wanted to control the narrative completely. For Putin, silence was safer than truth. Analysts say the shutdown was meticulously planned. The Russian government has been preparing for years to isolate its internet, building what they call the Runet, a national intranet system that can disconnect from the global web. And now, for the first time, it's being used on a massive scale. The goal, to keep citizens inside a digital iron curtain. But even with the blackout, word leaked out. Russian citizens abroad began posting messages from family back home, describing empty shelves, blocked cards, and growing fear. Videos taken before the shutdown flooded Western social media. Videos of chaos inside banks, of soldiers standing outside financial buildings, and of citizens shouting, "Give us our money!" Inside Russia, the mood is dark. Trust in the government has evaporated. Many people now believe their savings are gone forever. Businesses can't pay suppliers. Employees can't receive salaries. And the ruble, already weak, continues to slide with every passing hour. Economists outside Russia are calling this a self-inflicted collapse. Years of centralization, corruption, and war spending have hollowed out the economy from the inside. When pressure finally hit, there was nothing left to hold it up. It's as if the entire financial structure just cracked, and the government's response was not to fix it, but to hide it. For Putin, controlling the internet is not just about silencing panic, it's about survival. The Kremlin fears that economic collapse could ignite protests. They know what happens when citizens lose everything. The memory of the Soviet Union's collapse still haunts them. They remember how quickly control can disappear once the people take to the streets. But this time, things feel different. This isn't just an economic issue, it's emotional. For ordinary Russians, it's personal. Their savings, their jobs, their future, all slipping away while their leaders hide behind closed doors. The anger is simmering, and even if the internet is down, whispers still spread. In cities like Yekaterinburg and Rostov, small groups have started to gather outside government offices, demanding answers. They carry signs saying, "Where is our money?" and "Stop lying to us." Police have quickly dispersed them, but the message is clear. Fear is turning into defiance. Internationally, the shockwaves are spreading. Global markets are reacting. Russian bonds are collapsing in value, and foreign investors are rushing to exit. Neighboring countries like Kazakhstan and Belarus are bracing for financial contagion. The entire region feels unstable, as if something massive is about to break. Western governments are monitoring closely. Intelligence reports suggest that the Russian elite are moving assets abroad, anticipating further collapse. Private jets have been spotted leaving Moscow's airports late at night. It's a sign that those closest to power might be losing faith too. The irony is brutal. For years, Putin's regime has projected strength, unshakable control, national pride, and defiance against the West. But now, inside his own country, that image is crumbling. Power built on fear can last a long time, but not forever. Without internet, Russians can't organize, can't protest effectively, and can't share the truth. But history has shown that silence doesn't stop collapse. It only delays it. The truth always finds a way out. And once it does, it's unstoppable. Across St. Petersburg, whispers travel through word of mouth. Taxi drivers talk to passengers. Shop owners share rumors behind closed doors. Families sit in candlelit kitchens, wondering how long this blackout will last. The city feels like it's holding its breath. Experts warn that the longer the internet remains shut down, the worse the damage will be. The economy depends on connectivity. Banks, businesses, logistics all rely on data flow. Shutting it down might calm panic temporarily, but it will crush what little remains of economic activity. Inside the Kremlin, sources say there's division. Some advisors reportedly urge Putin to restore access before total collapse. Others insist on maintaining control at any cost. That internal struggle could determine not just the fate of the economy, but the fate of the regime itself. Meanwhile, the people suffer in silence. Parents can't buy medicine for their children. Pensioners wait outside banks that never open. Small businesses close their doors for good. In some areas, barter systems are returning. People trading goods because cash and cards no longer mean much. The fear is spreading faster than any official statement can contain. You can cut the internet, but you can't cut human instinct. Everyone knows something is terribly wrong. And in that silence, distrust grows. As darkness falls over Russian cities, the question becomes not how this started, but how it will end. Can Putin hold his country together when his people no longer trust him? Can he rebuild confidence in a system that seems broken beyond repair? For now, Russia stands at a crossroads. The world is watching, but the people inside can barely see beyond the next hour. Their voices are cut off, their money is trapped, their future uncertain. If this is how the Kremlin responds to crisis, with silence and control, it might mark the beginning of something much bigger than a financial collapse. It could be the beginning of the end of an era. And as history has shown, when fear turns into anger, when silence turns into resistance, even the strongest walls can fall. Thank you for watching. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dive analyses into the stories shaping our world. Until next time, stay aware, stay curious, and never stop asking questions.